Hi, I'm Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of today's newsletter is going to be why men who lie and women who cheat belong to the streets. Well, I've got two different emails I'm going to go through with you today. The first one, this guy's 23 years old. He's been following me since he was 16. And a little over a year ago, he started dating his now ex-girlfriend. And it's pretty obvious that she was lying to him. And then obviously he's caught her cheating on her. But despite all of the bad treatment that he's been the recipient of because of his lying and cheating ex-girlfriend, he still thinks it's possible to work it out. And he wants to get back together with her. So we're going to obviously be talking about the harsh truth and reality that character is destiny. And the second email is actually from a guy who his brother actually introduced him to my book 3% Man, and he'd been in a relationship with a girlfriend for several years. But his biggest problem is that he's a serial and habitual liar. And I guess in the past few months, he would tell lies about just innocuous things. And typically people that lie like that, it's like they're worried about other people accepting them. And to them, it's a way to avoid drama. So they just tell a little lie here, a little lie there. And then pretty much when you live that way, it's like your whole life becomes built on a foundation of quicksand. And so he lied about something that was really innocuous, not a big deal, but like he just couldn't help himself because he's been living this way his whole life and getting away with it. And in this case, for many years he was with his girlfriend and she always forgave him. But this last time she's just like, that's it. I can't be with somebody who lies. And you may have heard me say many, many times over the years on a ton of different videos that people don't change. They may become a better version of who they are, but they don't change. The liar and the cheater continues to lie and cheat, and they become better at hiding it. In his case, a guy who has always been a habitual and serial liar, well, I mean, from his actions and his life history, nothing has changed. And so you got a guy that is, because what's interesting is the first guy here wants to forgive his girlfriend for the lying and the cheating, but yet, I mean, this guy's been following me for what? That's about 7 years now. And I don't know how many videos he's watched, but he's encountered this issue that I've discussed where other people have been cheated on, and it doesn't change. And yet, despite the fact he's been following my work for 7 years, he still thinks it's a good idea to want to give this girl another chance because he thinks she'll change. But we look at her history and the fact she came from a broken home, character's destiny. And same thing with the last guy. He is, in essence, kind of like the first girl, whereas he's constantly lying to his girlfriend, says he's going to change, and he just never does. Character happens to be destiny. So it's like you kind of get two sides of it here. You get one guy who broke up with a lying, cheating girlfriend, and another guy who got dumped by his girlfriend just because she got tired of his lying. After just countless times forgiving him, he assumes she'll forgive him again. And this is part of the problem with people that behave this way, is that they've got people in their lives that enable their behavior, that always tolerate it. If more people cut them out of their life and they learn the hard way that if you're a habitual liar or habitual liar and cheater, that if you're dating somebody that's a good quality, good high character person, they're just not going to put up with it and they're going to leave. But when your emotions are involved and you really care for the person, as you'll see with this first guy's email, he makes all kinds of excuses. So let's go through the first dude's email. He says, Coach, what is the play here and what are your thoughts in this situation? I'm a 23-year-old male and my girlfriend is my age as well. Recently, we broke up due to her cheating on me with a coworker. Well, if you take her back, then there's no consequences. You've just basically given her permission that, hey, she can get away with it. And as you'll see in the second email, the guy got away with lying constantly for years, and the girl always forgave him, but eventually she reached her breaking point. And in this particular case, he's caught her cheating with the one coworker, but there's other dudes, other orbiters that are probably in the background that he doesn't even know about. And it's interesting because when he confronts her about it, the responses that she gives, and the responses that she gives communicate that she knows she belongs to the streets in essence, and this is just who she is and she can't help it. And it doesn't sound like she wants to change anyways. And remember, as Maya Angelou said, when somebody shows you or tells you who they are, believe them the first time. He says, recently we broke up due to her cheating on me with a coworker. I've been following your work since I was 16 years old, and you took me from a scrub to a certified closer. Well, the idea is that you gotta screen out the liars and the cheaters. You just can't continue to be with somebody that's going to treat you this way, because then you're teaching them it's okay. You're, in essence, teaching them to continue doing it, and there's no consequences. So why should they change? It's just like the girls that get constant attention from men. There's always another simp willing to line up and throw money at them or spend time with them and validate their life choices. So why should they change? It's not like they're ostracized from society, because there's so many thirsty dudes. If it's a pretty girl, they'll put up with all kinds of ratchet behavior, thinking they're going to be Captain Save-A-Ho or the White Knight that's going to fix everything. He says, I had been with my girlfriend for a year and a half, and our story starts in February of 2022 when we started dating. After 1 week of dating, she moved into my house with my father, brother, and me because her parents did not approve of us being together. So I told them to piss off and come to daddy. After 1 week of dating, dude, you moved in with her? Come on, man. 7 years you've been following me, and you think moving in with a girl you just met after a week was a good idea? She has 12 brothers and sisters. Her home life is not that great. She had been kicked out previously before as well. She's got some daddy issues. Long story short, things went great for the first 8 months. Then I found her texting another guy. Well, he thinks they were going great for 8 months, but it's only 8 months in that he caught her texting another guy. And, of course, what does he do? Because he loves her and she's living with him. He forgives her. He just dismisses, I can work with it. I can fix this. I can work with this. She'd be a great girlfriend if she just wouldn't text other men. Well, if she's got daddy issues, she's got to typically be seeking attention and validation from other dudes. That means she, even though she might be married or in a relationship, she'll give up her number to other guys because she likes the attention. She likes being hit on because daddy never paid attention to her growing up. So she has an attention need that is unusual and not normal just because she wasn't raised properly, if you will. I kicked her out for a week, and we agreed. We lost intimacy, and we needed to work on our relationship. We needed it. Well, your girlfriend just needed to be loyal and faithful, and obviously she's not capable of it. But the fact that you kicked her out for a week, and then you took her back, in other words, you just basically said, hey, that's okay with me. I'm cool with it. I don't mind you texting another man and showing interest in him and inviting interest from him, even though you live with me and my family. It's like, come on. I'll just kick her out for a week. Can you imagine the conversations? She's living at your family home, and everybody in the house knows that she was texting another guy. Over the next few months, things have been great. Nothing has been wrong. We have been going on dates, texting, talking, and loving. He says it's great. In other words, you're getting the version of her that she is selling you, and you're believing it like a sucker. Recently, she got a job far from home, about 30 miles away, being a student aide for the special needs students at her work. About 3 weeks ago, I caught her making plans to go with her male coworker on a hike that she had been hiding from me. She belongs in the streets. I mean, it's character's destiny. Character's destiny. Here it is again and again and again. He says, I confronted her about it and that she could not go. Ironically, that day her phone got lost at school and her car broke down on the side of the freeway. Aw. After this happened, I had been debating kicking her out. I had told her that I do not trust this guy. You don't trust the guy, but you trust her. It's like, you shouldn't trust either one of them. As I read their messages, and he was a heavy orbiter. Well, she was the one inviting the attention from the male orbiter. Because again, she didn't learn a healthy way to seek attention from men. No man was loyal to her when she was growing up, so therefore, this hoe ain't loyal either. It's who she is. She's a fuck buddy, friends with benefits, sex playmate, hookup girl, part of your rotation, but you never get serious with somebody like this. You can't turn a hoe into a housewife, and it's not your job to fix her or save her. Her family already fucked her up, and it's your job, especially a guy's been following me for 7 years, to recognize, like, you're not going to fix her. You're not going to change her. It's noble that you want to do these things, but if you look at her actions, she's trailer trash, man. That's reality. I know it's not nice, but somebody needs to shake your ass and wake you up. He says, I packed her stuff and gave her a choice to leave or cut off the coworker. Her excuse was, I enjoy the attention. She enjoys attention and validation from other men because she didn't get enough strokes as a kid from daddy. So she gets it from other men, including men that are not her boyfriend. In other words, hey, I enjoy the attention. I can't help myself. She doesn't care because you've always forgiven her in the past, so why should she assume you won't forgive her this time? She cut out the coworker, so I thought, yeah, sure. She told you a lie and you believed it. I found her messages with him a few days later, and it turns out they had been building a relationship behind my back, and ultimately I kicked her out again. They had been going out on dates after school, hooking up in his car, and everyone around them and the staff at school specifically encouraged it. They're like, oh, it's so cute. Meanwhile, she's living with her boyfriend and his family. Her excuse is, this is great. Hey, at least she's honest about why she's dishonest, if you will. Her excuse is she likes to feel like a whore and do slutty things. Almost a high level of self-sabotage. There it is. There it is. She knows she's a hoe. She knows she belongs to the streets, but she doesn't care because she loves it. You can get these at spring.com, the Coach Corey Wayne store. Maybe when you got people in your life that are dating somebody that belongs to the streets, maybe you should get them one of these mugs as a nice little gift. A nice little anonymous gift you can leave on their desk or send to them. A nice little package wrapped up in a bow. The coworker gave her the attention as well as I gave her attention in courtship. This girl's not going to change for you, man. It's not your job to fix her or to save her, but it is your job to recognize that she belongs to the streets and treat her as such. I would boot this girl out of my life and never see or speak to her again as long as I live, because she's not going to do anything except bring negativity in your life and enable all kinds of ratchet behavior. Plus, you're risking getting a disease with somebody like this because she doesn't care. I do see the 50-50 of the relationship as if I did something wrong. So what does that mean? He was pursuing 50-50, wasn't following the book. But what that's going to do is going to turn any woman off. Good women and women that belong to the streets. But the difference is a girl like this who belongs to the streets, when you're 50-50 and she has feelings of platonic friendship towards you, she's going to have zero remorse about fucking other dudes behind your back. She's just not going to care. He says, however, I checked back and I did almost everything right. Well, you kept enabling her behavior by forgiving it. He said, I took her on dates, I made her feel special, and we were even talking about how we are perfect soulmates a few days before. Yeah, perfect soulmates while she's fucking somebody else. You can't believe anything this girl says. She's just doing it because she knows she can manipulate you, because you're a doormat, you're a beta male. You don't apply what's in the book, dude. You invite this attention. You invite her to treat you like dirt. He says, what is the play here? Kick her out of your fucking house and say, don't ever call or text me again. I love her so much, and I realize she has a lot of issues to deal with. Well, it's not your job to fix her or to save her. Her parents screwed her up. At this point in her life, she ain't going to change for you. You've already given her multiple chances. She said, oh, we'll do it again. Oh, I cut that guy off, and yet she's still fucking him. Yeah. He says, I really want to be with her and talk to her. However, I have pulled no contact due to the fact she said she needed space. She needed space. Okay. As it sits, I'm sure she is fucking the other guy, but I do not really care as I am focused on bettering myself and he just says, maturing me. He says, thanks, coach. Any input would be appreciated. Well, you can't fix that, dude. You can't make good wine from bad grapes. But you got to see it as is. I mean, it just seems hilarious. She needs space. She cheated on him, and she needs space. That's so rich. It's like, come on, dude, have some self-respect. Seriously. So let's go to the second guy's email. This is the guy that's the habitual liar and got dumped by his girlfriend because she finally had enough. But you can see there's always somebody that just makes excuses for the behavior. Oh, I'll take her back. Oh, yeah, I think it'll be different this time around. She really seems like she was sorry. Dear Corey Wayne, thank you for taking the time to read this email. I've been listening to your audiobook and YouTube videos for several months now. Well, it ain't going to help you if you don't apply it. He says, my brother introduced me to your book a year ago, and I naively doubted its potential. Months later, I gave it a listen after messing up my girlfriend, and the relationship advice worked wonders for our arguments. I became very in tune with my girlfriend's emotions and felt like I was walking on air. I have listened to it on repeat since then. Well, that's good. One habit I was never able to break because he really didn't want to, however, was lying. It made it very hard for her to trust me, you think? But every time I tried to work things out, she always gave me one more chance. Well, she sounds like a saint, and you sound like you belong to the streets. I think this gave me the out that I needed not to look inward to solve the problem. Yeah, there's, as you see, it's like, here's a habitual liar. Hey, she forgave me, so, nothing to fix. Just tell her I'm sorry, it won't happen again, and then next time she catches me, I'll say, hey, sorry, it won't happen again, and she'll buy it. Why should she change? Or why should he change? She puts up with it. Why should the girl change in the first email? The boyfriend puts up with it. Even though she, in essence, at this point, has left him for another man and he's kicked her out, he still sounds like he's willing to forgive her again. And then, meanwhile, she's got several other dudes that don't care that she had a boyfriend because they're thinking, hey, we're going to be soulmates. We're going to be together. So there's always a lot of guys that are willing to validate that behavior. That's why like attracts like. People that like the same things tend to like each other. And if you get involved with a liar and a cheater and you continue to stay involved with them, well, you deserve what you get because you're inviting it. No one will ever do or say anything to you that you don't invite them to do. I know now, after what happened, that it should have been at the top of my list to work on. Yeah, being honest, I should have worked on that a little harder. Character's destiny. It's like you don't value truth and honesty and being a good person. After nearly 4 years of this, I lied over a simple problem. 4 years this shit went on. This guy's not going to change either. I lied over a simple problem when all was going well, and she cut me out completely. I mean, everybody's got their breaking point. It's like at some point, 4 years of habitual lying and promising to change, and she ain't going to trust your masculine core because you say one thing, you do another. You're not a trustworthy man. You're a liar. You don't have any integrity. You've never operated from a place of integrity. And the reality is, I don't think you'll ever change. I've never seen any case. I've seen a few emails and comments, people like, oh, I used to be a habitual cheater, and I haven't cheated for like 6 months now. So I'm completely fixed. Yeah, we'll see. Email me in 10 years, dude. Email me in 10 years. Tell me where you are in 10 years. I tried the no contact rule, but my weak heart caved after 4 days, and I blew up her phone begging her to forgive me. He says, I know. Come on, man. He says, she told me several times that she was done before I gave up and that she could never be with a dishonest person. Yeah, you're dishonest. It's like, I've had so many encounters with this. I've had people that worked for me. I had one that used to work for me that just a really cool person, and they just constantly lied. It was just constant, something else. And it's like, that's who they are. You want to forgive them and give them opportunity to reach their potential and be a better, good, high-quality person. But, hey, if they want to continue to act like a ratchet, well, they get sent back to the streets. Because if you tolerate it, then guess what? You're going to attract even more liars and cheaters into your life. I ended up mailing her a letter apologizing for never changing, saying I plan to seek help for the lying, and thanked her for the great relationship. I plan to seek help. It doesn't sound like it's a real priority. Oh, I plan to seek help. Yeah, it's like, yeah, I got to get around to that. I got to get around to fixing that lying problem. I would definitely say go seek a therapist or somebody that can help you with that if you're really serious. But quite frankly, I don't think you are. because you got away with it for this girl for 4 years, and more than likely there's probably another girl out there that'll forgive you and put up with this shit for a period of time, and then eventually she'll probably leave. Because I still find myself hoping that she will reach out to me after no contact, but her reaction to my toxic behavior makes me think she likely won't. You don't deserve it either, dude. It's like, let the girl go. Have you ever heard of an ex reaching out after something like this? Well, everybody's got a breaking point. And, I mean, look at the first guy. He's still willing to forgive that girl. At least that's what the tone of his email says. So, there's a sucker born every minute, as they say. And you're obviously good at finding suckers that will put up with your BS. For a period of time, anyways. I understand now that any reasonable person would leave at the first sign of dishonesty. Good people do. He says, I know that the best solution is to accept it, break my bad habits, and move on, but I can't help but think that God gave me my perfect match to see if I can handle her. Whatever, dude. He says, we had all the same interests, and she gave everything to love and understand me, despite all we had been through. Yeah, you didn't value it. So now you get to experience losing it. And when somebody else comes along, do I think you'll change? Nope. I don't think you'll change at all. I've just never seen it. There's like a 99.999% chance that this guy is always going to be this way. He's just going to constantly be lying about things. He can't help himself. And what's interesting, when you look at, the prison population, the overwhelming majority of the men that are in there grew up in single parent households. There was no dad around. If there's no man to teach them how to be a man, to have honor and have integrity, your word is your bond, it's like the neighborhood's going to raise them. The streets are going to raise them. And that's why these people belong to the streets. It's not your job to fix them. They've chosen their course. They've made it to, like this guy, he's made it to adulthood. That other girl in the first email's made it to adulthood. And I mean, this guy can't help himself, doesn't want to help himself, talks about helping himself, but doesn't change. And the first girl, she's just like, hey, I'm a hoe. She's totally cool with it. She knows what she is. She admits it. And if you stay with her after she admits that she's a hoe, it's like, well, that's on you. Can't turn a hoe into a housewife. How can I move on with the feeling that I lost my perfect match? Well, quite frankly, there's another bus every 15 minutes. But you'll probably lie to her too, and eventually she'll get sick of it and leave you. And this will be your life. And if you ever have kids, your kids will be just as dishonest as you are, and maybe even end up in jail someday. But hey, maybe you'll prove us all wrong. Maybe you'll be one of the 0.001% that potentially could change. But it doesn't sound like you have any intention of it. You're just like, yeah, I got to work on that problem of lying all the time. I'm going to get around to that. I got to fix my tennis elbow first. It feels like every person I try to date after this won't come close to the love and connection she gave me. Well, it's normal to feel that way after a breakup. But look at the girl from the first email. It's like there's always another dude willing to put up with her shit. And quite frankly, there'll be plenty of people out there that are suckers, plenty of girls that'll put up with your lying and your deviousness. And then you'll probably just continue on the same way because, whatever. After you get rejected enough and you run into enough high character people that won't put up with your shit, maybe you'll change. But I wouldn't bet on it. Me personally, I wouldn't bet. I wouldn't trust you as far as I could throw you, dude. I know it's harsh, but masculine energy grows through challenge. Maybe you'll prove us all wrong, but that's on you to do. And so this was like an email update he sent the next day. He says, please excuse my previous email. As a man still discovering his purpose and masculinity, I suffered a lot of emotions in a short amount of time. After talking to friends and family and listening to a lot of your videos, I've realized that this is a learning experience for me. I could not expect her to continue with a flawed man, and it is now my time to work on myself so I can be ready for my perfect girl whenever she comes along. Besides, as a 24-year-old graduate student still living at home, it was now or never to start my own life and focus on what matters. Thank you for all your educational material. I plan on continuing my education in the art of mastering myself and understanding women. Thank you, Corey, for the help and resources to improve my relationship with women. Well, it's great I can give you the resources to improve your relationship with women, but I can't turn you into an honest person because character is destiny. I don't believe you're going to change. Hopefully you'll prove me wrong. That would be nice. That'd be a good thing for humanity, but people like you typically just don't. You make excuses. But maybe you'll be different. Maybe you'll be the 0.001% that'll actually change. So as you can see, you got kind of both sides here. You got the guy that's on the receiving end of lying and cheating, and then you got another dude who got dumped because he was always dishing out lying, and who knows, maybe there was cheating involved. He didn't mention anything like that. He just lies about all kinds of things. And I've met so many people like that in the course of my life. I've had people like that work for me. I've worked with people that are like that in other jobs, and I've never known any of them to change. I've had long conversations with them. They're worried about what other people think. They're worried about acceptance. And it's just easier for them because they've done it so many times over the thousands and thousands of lies they've told over the course of their life that it's just easier for them to do that. And they just don't really have the motivation. But like I said, maybe this last guy will prove me wrong. But if you're one of the people that's dating somebody that's a liar and a cheater, look at the first email. They ain't going to change. It's not your job to fix or to save them. They must do that themselves. So if you got a question or a challenge and you'd like to get my help, go to understandingrelationships.com, click the products tab at the top of your screen, and book a coaching session with yours truly. Until next time, I will talk to you soon.